Welcome to today's episode. We are going to be talking about the secret history of America's haunted highways. North of Sacramento, on Interstate 5, solitary drivers often report encountering a young woman known as the Vanishing Lady. The origin of her story ties back to a fatal accident in the early 1950s. According to the legend, a woman named Mary was returning from her dance when a reckless driver caused a head-on collision, killing her instantly. Since then, her ghost has been seen standing at the side of the road, often during rainy or foggy nights, seeking a ride she can never receive. Veteran trucker Tom Jenkins recalls stopping after seeing her standing on a rain-slicked shoulder near Reading. He describes her dress as wet and clinging, an old-fashioned sky blue frock, with eyes that looked both frightened and resigned. When he opened his door to help, she vanished like steam, leaving the seat beside him cold. Later, his radio would mysteriously produce soft static and faint voices. Law enforcement reports are surprisingly numerous. One California Highway Patrol officer confirmed he once paced the shoulder after spotting a hitchhiking woman and found no footprints, no broken twigs, just a lingering chill. Theories range from residual hauntings to Mary's spirit being trapped by unfulfilled longing, endlessly reliving that last journey of hers. Route 66, the iconic Mother Road, stretches from Chicago to Santa Monica, crisscrossing deserts, small towns, and historic landmarks. It's a magnet for nostalgic travelers and ghost hunters alike. In Amboy, California, a small desert town, multiple drivers have reported a man dressed as a roadside mechanic from the 1940s. He stands near the twisted remains of old cars along the roadside, sometimes offering a silent wave but vanishing when approached. Locals say it's the spirit of a gas station attendant who died in the late 1940s under mysterious circumstances. On another night, Nurse Claire Evans was driving near Tucumcari, New Mexico, when she felt a persistent sense of being followed. Her rearview mirror showed a pair of headlights that kept pace with her, yet traffic was sparse. After several minutes, the lights disappeared right before a curve, only to reappear behind her just moments later. When stopped at a diner, others told her similar experiences are common here. Anthropologists note that this road was once a lifeline during the Great Depression when countless families fled economic despair. The ghost of those travel, the hopes and failures of a nation, seen woven into the cracked pavement and rusted signage. The Oregon Trail was a perilous route for the 19th century pioneers, fraught with dangers like dysentery, starvation, and Native American conflicts. Over 400,000 settlers took this trail heading west, many never completing the journey. Today, modern highways trace parts of that trail and carry the weight of its sorrow. Near Baker City, Oregon, campers report hearing the creak of old wagon wheels and distant pioneer songs drifting faintly in the wind, especially near abandoned way stations. One family recounted waking at midnight to see a procession of ghostly pioneers led by a wagon circle disappearing with the dawn. Cold spots are common too, places where the temperature drops suddenly despite warm weather. Paranormal experts suggest these are residual hauntings, imprints of repeated traumatic events stubbornly stuck in the landscape. In some accounts, spectators are not malicious, but seem to yearn for remembrance, urging planners, drivers, and campers alike to honor these forgotten travelers. The Pine Barrens are a vast forested area, memorably described as a sand-washed sea with dense pines and twisted undergrowth. Beside the notorious Jersey Devil, travelers speaks of a elusive blue ghost. Described first in the late 1980s, the blue ghost often appears as a translucent figure glowing a bright electric blue. Witnesses say it moves impossibly fast, racing in and out of tree lines along abandoned logging roads. Several report car headlights failing or radios distorting as the ghost approaches. One hunter told of following what he thought was a deer's glowing blue eyes at dusk, only to watch it leap over a ravine with impossible agility and vanished. It appears sporadically, sometimes in places linked to tragic deaths or historical accidents. Stories say the blue ghost could be a protective spirit or the restless soul of a logger who died of a catastrophic accident during the early 20th century. Local legend holds it warns potential visitors of danger, a guardian in a place as wild as mysterious as its frame. The Appalachian Mountains are thick with history, harsh labor, and folklore, a perfect breeding ground for spectral stories. In West Virginia's coal mining country, miners who've died underground are said to haunt the mountain's passes. Drivers often see figures in soot-covered clothing, faces pale and gaunt, sometimes waving lanterns or tapping sounds echoing from rocky cliffsides. These figures are often reported during storms or heavy fog. With the Blue Ridge Mountains, the winding Skyline Drive is known for ghostly encounters. Tourists recount seeing lantern-bearing figures in obsolete Appalachian garb standing at the roadside. One widower shared how he frequently saw the spirit of a lost love traced in the mist, watching silently before vanishing. Mountain animals occasionally behave strangely near these locations. Dogs growl at unseen threats, birds fall silent, and deer avoid certain curves. The thin mountain air and enveloping fog create a haunting stage where the past feels close enough to touch. The ghost trucks are among the most terrifying and well-documented phenomenon on America's highways. One notable highway is Interstate 80 through the Great Plains, where numerous truckers report the sudden appearance of a huge rig behind them, tailgating aggressively and honking lines of warning. The horn's echoes fills the cabs, but turning to look, the cab's mirrors show only empty highway. John, a semi-driver with over 25 years of experience, described an incident near Fort Morgan, Colorado. His rearview mirror showed a massive truck, blazing lights behind him. Braking hard to avoid the collision, he swerved. But there was no truck. The road was clear. The warning horn's distant echo faded away as silence engulfed the night. Trucking forums are rife with similar first-hand stories. Phantom rigs seem tied to sites of fatal collisions, replaying their final moments of, or perhaps signaling caution to living travelers. Numerous highways have earned reputations for strange glowing orbs hovering just over the road or darting quickly between trees. At Texas's Devil's Backbone near the town of Marble Falls, sightings of multiple multicolored orbs go back decades. These orbs are said to move intelligently, pulsing and changing color, sometimes pausing to light the road as if examining travelers. In Michigan's Upper Peninsula, a stretch of Highway 41 is famous for similar orbs seen dancing above guardrails and floating between headlights. One couple noted the lights seemed to mimic the car's speed, accelerating and slowing in rhythm. Paranormal experts remain divided. Some suggest they may be a type of ball lightning or plasma phenomenon. Others believe them to be manifestations of spirits or interdimensional visitors connected to local tragedies. To bring these hauntings to vivid focus, here are some crippling personal stories from those who've experienced the phantom pavements firsthand. Near Flagstaff, Arizona, trucker Steve Manning recalls a terrifying moment when his CB radio filled with a woman's voice pleading for help. He stopped the truck and found nothing but silent desert, yet the voice persisted in static bursts until he drove away. On a rural Missourian road, Nurse Claire Evans offered a ride to a young woman standing alone at night. When Claire reached out to open the door, the figure dissolved, leaving only a scent of tobacco and an overwhelming feeling of sadness. An RV family traveling the Blue Ridge Parkway awoke one night to pounding on their door. When they looked outside, the road was empty, yet their GPSs had blinked with signal loss and static. The knocking resumed periodically until dawn. These encounters are chilling reminders that America's roads, though they are paved and lit, can carry shadows from beyond the veil. The stories you've just heard remind us that America's vast highway system isn't just a network of roads, it's a living, breathing map of memories. Every stretch of asphalt overlays generations of travelers, tragedies, and triumphs. Maybe it's not surprising that some of those journeys never truly ended. So the next time you find yourself driving alone at night, headlights curving through fog, radios humming softly, glance into the rearview mirror. You might see something or you might not. Maybe, just maybe, the faint shadow of a traveler trying to find their way home, potentially. If you've had your own haunting encounters along America's back roads, we would love to hear about it. So please share your story with us using the comments section below. Because out there between the white lines and the dark horizon, the past is always closer than it seems. Until next time, my friends, drive safe, keep your eyes on the road, and remember, every ghost has a story, and every highway holds its secrets. I'm John.